All right, so the other week I was playing a show using my Jackson and Rose guitar, which uses a Floyd Rose bridge. And at the end of the song, when we were done, I pulled on the whammy bar real hard and broke one of the strings right there. So good opportunity to change it. These bridges are a little bit different the way that they're balanced. I'll show that. But up here at the top, we kind of need to start up here. The strings are locked into this nut right here with 3 bolts. You gotta make sure to use the right size Allen wrench to get them open. Don't want to strip those out. Can't get them again. But anyway, I'm going to change the strings on this guitar. Might skip around a little bit more than I did on the last one because it takes a bit longer to change the strings on one of these guitars and a bit longer to get it in tune, but I wanted to kind of walk through that process. So I'm keeping these just kind of right here, just kind of keep them out of the way, and then I'm done with that. Here, I can take the string off. Let's see. Might not be able to see it too well, but I've actually got these strings on here backwards. So the ball end, let's see, is up there on that end. And then I cut the string a little bit short and then feed it into the bridge right there. So I'm gonna walk through that process here. So, all right, so I'm back and I'm about to start the restringing process. I've had this set of strings around Arnie Ball 10 to 52s because I'm going back to standard tuning. This one was in B standard, but yeah, I'm gonna actually start with the D string, the 30 gauge. So normally I wouldn't start right in the middle, but since that's the string that broke, I'm gonna start that way to kind of attempt to keep some of the tuning consistent on here. So I'm going to turn this tuner so it's kind of facing forward a little bit. Feed the string through the tuner backwards, putting the ball in there. I'll line it up. Now, turn our angle. There you go. And you can see I've got quite a bit of slack left over here. So I'm going to cut the string probably about in that spot right there. And here's my wire cutters. Just a little bit back from the bridge. All right. Toss that. Now, since I actually pulled the string out of here, the block that was holding the string is still here. I'm just gonna loosen that space up just a little bit. It's got a little block that sits in there. I'll feed the string down in between there. And then use this Allen wrench back here for this part to kind of tighten the string back down. There we go. That's probably a bit more slack than really needed for it there. But we'll just go ahead and start the tuning. So I'm kind of keeping it lined up as I go. I'm gonna track down my string winder before I do the next string. While I'm doing this, I'm just gonna stop the recording here for a second. All right, so I tracked down my string winder and it's making a big difference up here, so It's going a little bit up there. Doesn't have to be in tune or anything right now. So that was the 30 gauge string that I just did. Let's, I guess we'll do the low E string, so the 52 gauge. All right, so I'm gonna feed it through again. Okay. Go through. Maybe give ourselves just a little bit less slack this time. Let's see. It's down here. That should be good enough. Let's see. Just kind of fit it down into there. Kind of use the whammy bar to help pull the bridge up a little bit. When you let the tension off the strings, it tends to sit back further than it normally would. So that's how loose the string is, but with the string winder, I'm getting there pretty quick. So now that's a little buzzy. It's a 52 gauge string that I just tuned to B, but I am planning on bringing the tuning back up. So I changed the D, I just changed the E, so as soon as I change the A, I'll kind of be back on course here. All right, so now comes the really fun part. So I've got all 6 new strings on here, so might as well take this off right now because that might be an issue for us. So I have to flip the guitar over, and I already went ahead and took the back plate off of here, as you can see. Let's see what we got here. So this is the inside of the back of the guitar right here. Now when it came to me, it had 3 springs in the back here, and this part was screwed all the way in. I had to remove one of the springs and then release some of the tension away from the body in order to get it down to B standard. However, now I want to get it back to E standard. All right, so I'm kind of at a unique part in the process. Remember I said that I had removed one of the springs from the back of the instrument to get it to go back down to B standard. Well, I've got the screws pretty well screwed back in to there, but if you look right here from the side, look at my action now. That bridge needs to be down against the instrument, so I am gonna have to add that spring back into it. All right, well, I am glad that I did that off camera because it was a little rough, but I did get that spring back in there. It's all good. So now if I flip back over, now you can see how recessed the bridge is. And when I pull, you can see it comes up to about the level that it needs to be at. So as I'm putting the guitar back in tune, we're going to cross our fingers that it will bring the action up to a normal level and not a crazy high level like I had before. I added that spring back into it. So let me go ahead and work on that process. All right, back to standard. That buzzing on the E string, that's because the bridge is still too low. So loosen it up a little bit more and try the process again. All right, went through and did everything again, and getting closer there, not getting the buzz on the E string like I had. The bridge is starting to resemble a little bit more something that is normal. So I'll go ahead and do that process again of loosening the springs back up a little bit. All right, we're getting much closer here, so getting into standard finally. We're just getting a little bit closer. I'd still like to bring it up just a little bit. So maybe just another quick turn or two over here. All right, so I think I got it back to standard tuning there. Kind of like the placement of the bridge now against the body. I could still maybe come up just a little bit, but I'm gonna try keeping the action low. These little screws right here, you see how there's still some room left in them there? I'm probably going to need that room. In fact, I should probably just go ahead and loosen these up. Not all the way, but you know, take them all the way and then give them a few turns there to give them a little bit of space. Not too bad. But now it's time to put these little guys, 3 of these, back in up here at the nut. Let's go back up this way. And you do want to put them down kind of tight because what you're doing here, but let's see. Yeah, that's the one I want, I believe. It is going to change the pitch just a little bit. It's going to tighten it, raise it, so I'm going to need to come back and do a little bit more tuning. Let's deal with these. Normally, I like to use GHS strings, but they die a little sooner than some other strings. However, when they're on and they're sounding good, I mean, they sound great. But like I say, they take a little longer to break in and they die a little quicker, so not a string that I'm super into using on a Floyd Rose style bridge. They're already got quite a bit of elasticity to them, and this type of bridge will give you even more bend when you need it there, so it's just a little overkill at that point. Ernie Ball is a good medium lifespan string. I would, consider with GHS being on the quick dying and something like Elixirs, or maybe some of the new Diodario strings being some of the more long-lasting. So that was pretty quick as far as that part of the process. However, I bet within the next few minutes it's going to go out of tune again, and just going to need to repeat this for a little bit. But that was taking this guitar with a Floyd Rose bridge from B standard back to E standard, and changing the tuning, or the string gauge as well on it there. These little parts right here that I have, that's the back plate and the screws for that. I guess I can wrap up as I'm doing this part here. Just flip it back over. Don't really need to put it back on, but it does help kind of protect everything back there. Let's see, lines up like this. Get them lined up first. This one down here, just a little. There we go. That lined up. That lined up. There we go. So changing strings on most guitars is not going to be this difficult of a process. I know I walked through changing the Les Paul strings. I should probably do a few other ones, including a nylon string guitar, because a lot of people don't really know the loop that you need to make in order to tie a nylon string onto the bridge there. So I would be happy to share that information here probably in a bit. I'll let this one get posted and let that information get out there, but get that taken care of. There we go. All right, well, thank you guys very much for watching this whole thing. I hope that you learned something through the process, even if it's something not to do, like adjusting the screws before you get the springs all set and everything in the back there. That could have saved me a little bit of trouble, but I'm just going to remember that for next time. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.